We're going to be looking at the official Knights Radiant order quiz, available on brandonsanderson.com. Let me pop my face in. Hey, be up here. So the way this works is it's a bunch of sliders where you are trying to show, as an example, are you more someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, or more someone who has a poker face? And the idea is, as we go along, we're going to be shifting from side to side, and eventually then Brandon's website will post out your order of Knight Radiant. I am hopeful and expectant to either end up with Windrunner or Edge Dancer. That is what has happened in the past. That's what I tend to align with, but people change, so let's see what happens today. And if you've not done so already, jump over to Back Your Kit, take a look at the Words of Radiance Leatherbound Kickstarter, where you will have the chance to have a Knight Radiant order represented in part of that campaign. All right, so let's jump in. Start with Heart on Sleeve. I versus Poker Face. I would say that I tend to be more someone that is very difficult to hide how I'm feeling about things. But, oh gosh. This is hard already. There were only question one. Let me think on this for a second. All right, so I've pondered on it. Identifying, my thought here is, it is really important to me that you be able to control yourself. So I don't want to have like a 0% poker face, but it's also really important to me that you communicate with people. And I would say it's more important to communicate how you feel with people than not. So I'm going to go 75% heart on sleeve, 25% poker face. Confident versus needs reassurance. I will say, again, I'm not never confident, but I have a lot of these like insecurities that really are where I'm like reaching out to people going, hey, what in our relationships and personally, have I upset you? Have I frustrated you? A little rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria going on. So I'm going to go with 71% needs reassurance, 29% confident. All right. Am I cautious or daring? This is weird. Physically, particularly when it comes to experiences, I'm going to be a lot more daring than I am cautious. I would say that I'm more cautious with things that I think are worthy of caution, but there's a lot of things I don't think are worthy of caution. So I'm going to go with 60-40 there. Library or dojo, I'm just going to go 95%, 94%, I'll go 92% library. Wolf pack or lone wolf. I spend a lot of time as a lone wolf, but I think in my ideal world, ideal version of myself, I want to be in the wolf pack, man. I'm going to say 100% wolf pack, because that's where I want to be. That's what I want. Peacemaker or firebrand. I'm going to go, I think I tend to be a firebrand to be a peacemaker. So I don't know about that. I'm going to say 80% peacemaker. Spiritual or skeptical, I'm going to go 100%. I'm going to go 90%. If this means skeptical of the spiritual, I suppose I'll go 100% spiritual, because I have 0% skeptical of the spiritual. But I have a lot of skepticism for claims, if that makes any sense. So that might get tricky, but we'll start there. Leader or facilitator, I am super a facilitator. Like, I can lead, but if you give me like goals, game plan, ideas, we can bounce back on those and like manipulate the ideas. That's great. Always on board for that. I will support you in your journey, 100%. Guard dog versus alley cat. This is a weird one. First one, I'm not even 100% sure exactly what that means. The guard dog to me has loyalty, and the alley cat is more separated. It's just kind of going back wolf pack, lone wolf maybe. So I think I'll go guard dog, like 85%. Compassionate versus dispassionate. I'm going to say 100% compassionate. There's not a lot of me that leaks the empathy out. So I'm going to go with compassionate there. Heart or head? I think my head tends to lead, so I'm going to go 75-25. Flamboyant versus reserved. Ooh, I'm gonna go 70-30. In the right circumstances, I'm extremely flamboyant. In a lot of circumstances, especially around people I don't know or I don't know quite how to interact with them, I'm way more reserved. Letter of law versus the spirit of the law. This is really tricky. Growing up, I would have been like 100% letter of the law. And I would say that as I have grown, become an adult, way more on the side of what are we actually trying to accomplish, not what are the literal words on the paper, unless we're playing a board game, in which point we've all agreed the letter of the law is what's important, so we're going to follow the letter of the law. That's what I would say. There are certain small circumstances where the letter of the law is actually important that I'm super on board with letter of the law. Otherwise, I'm more about spirit of the law. Spirited versus disciplined, very much more the free-spirited side. Obedient versus rebellious, right? High school teenager CJ, obedient 100%. I would say that, this is where that skepticism comes back in. Like, I'm spiritual, I like order, I like things, but then I want it to be done the right way. So I'm going to go with like a 73-27 split there. Creative versus conventional. I would say that I'm far more creative than I am conventional. Dependable versus flexible. I will say one of the saddest parts for me is how undependable at times I am. I really like this dichotomy actually, because I am extremely flexible, which means it becomes a lot harder to keep those commitments, keep those boundaries up. It's something I watch a lot in myself. So I'm going to go 90% flexible, 10% dependable. Down to earth versus head in the clouds. I am way more of an idealist. I'm going to be theorizing, thinking, hoping, dreaming. People will tell me, hey, that's not realistic. You can't do it that way. And I'm like, why not? Let's do it. So I'm going to go 90-10 there. Think outside the box versus colors in the line. I am very much a think outside the box kind of guy. I'm like, what could we do differently? What could we change to approach this problem? Tense versus relaxed. I am way more relaxed than I am tense. Decisive versus indecisive. I have a lot of indecisiveness in me. I'm going to go 69-31 there. Likes change, likes stability. Oh, there are two halves of my brain at war on this one. I like change that I'm in control of. And I like stability when I don't have control. So I'm gonna go closer to change. Planner versus spontaneous, way more of a planner. Ends justify the means versus honorable actions. With ends justifying the means being the opposite, I'm going to go way more on the honorable side. I think that's getting at platonic, like what should one do? And I'm going to go with that. Playful versus serious, way more playful. You can see that in the intensity of some of these TikToks. Tells the truth, bends the truth. Oh man, little kid CJ would have been 100% tells the truth. It was all about like, you got to do what's right, because it's the truth. I'm a lawyer now and just candidly have seen again, like what are we trying to say versus what's the literal truth, if that makes sense. So more on this side, and honestly something I struggle with because I find myself maybe saying and doing things I shouldn't do, and it's been a struggle. Take things apart versus if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love to monkey with things, even if it feels like it's working. Hotel versus camping. I'm gonna go way more on the camping side. Something I did not do at all as a young person, but have absolutely fallen in love with. 100% fencing versus boxing. The manipulation of the rapier and all that. One of the only times I've ever gotten bruised regularly in my life was fencing. We have a minute left, so I'm going to hurry this up a little. How many we got left? We can do this. I am more scientific than I am artistic. I am more book smart than I am street smart. I am more paladin than I am rogue. I am unfortunately, I'm going to bump this to like 80. I recently in a game allowed some things to happen that maybe allowed for a little bit more progress for other players instead of being super competitive. And I'm a pretty transparent person. I will just say things to you. So let's find out. A light weaver. Wow. Okay. Will Shaper 54, Edge Dancer 44. So this is very different than the last couple of times. So I am intrigued. I will still candidly continue to identify as an edge dancer. I think 44 is certainly enough for a spren to consider me. But let me know in the comments what your order is and what you get in the quiz.